San Diego is one of the hottest vacation destinations in the entire country with over 32 million people visiting each and every year. And it's pretty obvious why, with its year-round sunshine, amazing beaches, and just a very vibrant culture. Short-term rentals are doing very good. So today I'm going to share some important tips if you are thinking about buying an Airbnb or a second home here in San Diego. And we're actually going to take you into a real-life successful short-term rental that pulls in over $200,000 a year. Let's get into it. By the way, my name is Nick, and you guys are reaching out all the time, and we love helping you out. So if you're thinking about making a move in or around San Diego, just shoot us a text, shoot us an email, or just straight up give us a call so we can help you save a ton of time and help you with your real estate goals right here in San Diego. Now, imagine owning a second home that not only gives you the best of San Diego, but also generates some great income when you're not using it. I'm gonna go over 7 things you need to consider when buying a short-term rental here in San Diego. So let's get into the first one, which is going to be, can you even short-term rent in that community? And most people that we help say, hey, can we buy a short-term rental in Carlsbad or Forest Ranch or Carmel Valley? And while many people will try to do short-term rentals in some of these areas, you're not necessarily allowed to. Now, yes, is there pockets here and there where you can get away with it? Yeah, there is, but it's gonna be a lot more few and far between. If you wanna find as many areas as possible to do short-term rentals, you're gonna be wanting to look in areas like Oceanside, Mission Beach, Pacific Beach, North Park, and downtown San Diego, and even parts of La Jolla. And you need to keep in mind that any community or neighborhood that has an HOA, it is very likely that in the CC&Rs, it's going to have a minimum night rental, and usually what you're gonna see is a 30-night minimum rental when it comes to that. So you're not gonna be able to rent that on a nightly or bi-nightly basis. So condos, townhomes, and a lot of these areas where there's master plan communities with these HOAs, you are going to have that restriction. So your odds of finding that short-term rental are gonna be much higher if you're looking in areas that do not have an HOA. Number 2 is amenities. And I'm not so much talking about amenities within a community or a neighborhood. I'm talking about amenities at that specific property. Is there a pool? Is there a spa? Does it have AC? Is there wireless internet? How about a washer and dryer or even a kitchen? These are the things that people are willing to pay extra for. And there's also some really cool resources out there like AirDNA, which is gonna be a short-term rental data resource, which is really cool because this actually helps us with some of our clients looking for short-term rentals. It just helps people make a better decision on not just what they're buying, but where, and it will even go from everything from occupancy rates to what you could be charging to what some of the other neighbors are charging for their short-term rentals. It's really cool and worth looking into. But you really do have to think about some of these amenities and what the expenses are gonna be like if you do have them. It's not like you're going to go dig and add a pool or a spa just for your guests. It's not gonna make the most sense for cost efficiency, and it's probably gonna take you years to even get that money back. And as goofy as it sounds, having a kitchen is an amenity because a lot of people want to rent out maybe a room in their house, or they want to rent out a guest house, or maybe a garage that was converted into a studio. And a lot of the times there is no kitchen with that. So it just kind of messes with what you can charge. Next up, how are you going to use this property? Now, most people are going to want to buy a place and they're going to want to use it for maybe a few weeks or maybe a month out of the year, and then they're going to rent it out the rest of the year and have somebody else paying it off. Or something I'm seeing a lot here in San Diego is people saying, hey, I'm going to buy something now and I'm going to short-term rent it for the next 2 to 3 years because I'm actually planning on moving or retiring in San Diego in the next few years. And chances are you're going to be paying a lot less now than you would be in 2 to 3 years when these prices get higher. Number 4, how to find the right property. Now, location is key, and you already heard me give some of my recommendations on areas to focus on, but I want to dig a little bit deeper on proximity. Proximity to things is key, especially proximity to beaches, to downtown areas, especially on the coast where the shops, the bars, all the top-rated restaurants are, and even parks and attractions. Up in Carlsbad, you're gonna have Legoland, or over in Escondido, you're gonna have the Safari Park, or down in downtown, you're going to have the zoo. So being close to some of this stuff is really gonna help the profitability. Features matter as well. Multiple bedrooms, en-suite bathrooms, outdoor spaces, and parking are gonna be so crucial. And the more bedrooms, the better. I've been in some of these short-term rentals where there's 3 massive, massive bedrooms when you could have easily fit 5 or maybe 6 bedrooms. So this is the type of stuff that's just gonna enhance and make the profitability a little bit better. And again, using these tools like AirDNA, these are gonna help a lot really figure out the demand in some of these areas and what you could potentially be charging. Next up, are you hiring a professional management company? Now, this is the most important part for figuring out profitability. Who's gonna manage this place? Because it can get very expensive if you want it professionally managed. They're charging anywhere from 20 to 40% of the gross rents or income. Now that's a huge chunk. In my opinion, there's a lot more positives in having a management company because it's gonna be 1,000 times less stressful. Unless you're really experienced with this and you've done it before, these management companies are going to really focus on maximizing your revenue, and it's gonna be a very hands-off operation. They're gonna take care of everything from restocking supplies to guest communication, check-ins, cleaning, maintenance, and even getting you 5-star reviews, which just allows you to have the benefits of the home ownership. Now, what I will say is you do want to run your numbers accordingly just to see what makes the most sense for you. And if you're getting any value out of this video, it would mean the world to us if you go down there and hit that like button. And if you're thinking about buying or selling anywhere in San Diego, we would love to be your real estate resource of choice. All of our information is below. Number 6, navigating San Diego's short-term rental regulations. You need to know that every city is going to operate a little bit different when it comes to the licensing process. For example, the city of San Diego is going to be a bit more strict than the city of Oceanside. And short-term rental licenses are required on every single short-term rental in San Diego County, whether it's a Vrbo or an Airbnb, you are going to need one. And there is an application process that could take, months or weeks depending on the city. And there is an annual fee that comes with that. Licenses are also divided into different tiers as well. So for example, you have whole home rentals and you have shared home rentals. So a shared home rental would more so be, let's say you live in the guest house or the granny flat and you're renting out the main house as a short-term rental, or vice versa. And there can also be license caps and neighborhood limits, especially in the city of San Diego. They really tightened down on this and they only allow about 1% of the total housing to be whole home rentals. So that's about 5,400 units. And if you go over to Mission Beach, this is where you'll have about 30% of homes in that area are allowed to be whole home rentals, which is about 1,081 units. But that was just an example of the limits down in the city of San Diego. So it might be a little bit harder to find a short-term rental down there, but you do have some other areas like up in Oceanside. If you go to their website, you can go to the city of Oceanside and you can actually pull up a map that shows all of the active short-term rental licenses. So that way you kind of get the competitive edge on where you can do it and where you might want to stay away from it. Last but not least is the finances. Now, this is going to be the most important. Now, if you're going to buy a short-term rental, maybe the previous owner was using it as a short-term rental. You need to be asking for the financials. You need to see what the rent rolls were or any projections, because it's really going to help paint a picture to see what this thing was producing over the last couple years and give you a good idea of what to expect, because people are always changing up their strategies when it comes to these short-term rentals. Especially with rates being higher, it's just harder and harder to turn a profit on these short-term rentals. And I'm actually seeing a lot of people use the house for themselves instead of other people offsetting the cost, because it seems like a lot of owners out there are saying, hey, I don't really care if it's rented throughout the year. As long as someone's paying it down a little bit, then they're happy. So I really think we're gonna see a lot more of this than your big time investor using these households as mini hotels. Great, so let's show you what a successful short-term rental looks like here in San Diego. Now, right now, we're actually located in Pacific Beach. We're only 3 blocks from Mission Bay is gonna be right there. So just a quick walk down the road, you'll be at the bay, which is awesome. And believe it or not, end of November, perfect weather. Now, let's go ahead and check this out, because this is a very central location, especially if you're looking for a short-term rental. This is gonna be a great area. This is going to be Pacific Beach, like I said, and we're actually, to be a little more specific, we're actually in Crown Point. Now let's go ahead and get inside of here. Now there's actually 2 units at this house, which is really cool. And this is the actual one that the owner currently uses as the short-term rental, as Airbnb. And then in the back, you're going to have an ADU or a guest house above the garage. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Now, the whole entire compound is going to be a 7-bedroom, 4.5 bath at just over 2,000 square feet. Now, again, this is going to be the short-term rental. You can see the license right up in here, the max people they can have. is about 16. So you do have to follow rules and you do have to get permits. This one already has the permits. This is going to be one of the full bathrooms, but this is overall a very successful Airbnb. The owner the last 2 years has made $200,000 each year. So they're doing pretty good. And you might be wondering, hey Nick, how much is the nightly rate? Well, on the weekdays, they're charging about $900 a night. And on the weekends, a little bit over $1,000, especially in the summers when it's really busy. And I do know the owner occupies this for a few weeks out of the year, has their family here. Now this is gonna be one of the bedrooms right here. This has got access to the front patio, which is nice. And then there is 3 bedrooms that are gonna be en suite with their own bathroom. So that is key in a short-term rental. These are the things you look for when you're buying a short-term rental because that's a game changer. This is gonna be the other bedroom. You got your own closet in here. It's got a really nice flow as well. And again, location is, even if you're buying a primary home, that is the most important. But even on these investment properties, if you're gonna do a short-term rental, you really got to choose the right areas and where you can actually get the permits to do it. This is going to be another bedroom, no bathroom in here. This place has got a really cool rooftop deck as well, which I'm going to show you. That's going to be the kitchen. You got your dining room here, and they have some really fun lighting, which I turned on, which is cool, especially when you're going to have guests staying here. Kind of brings a fun vibe in here. That's just going to be a utility room, so you got washer, dryer, furnace in there. And let's take you out back so I can show you this. So here's the backyard for the main house. You have a deck above, which I'm going to show you. Now, what you should know, there's going to be a 3-car or 2-car garage right on this side. And then above it, you're going to have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And that's on a long-term renter right now. And I'm not exactly sure what the rents are, but they can access it from right there. And there's actually alley access, which is perfect. Literally perfect, because you can have your tenant or the renter access through there. Now, if you did want to, they looked into numbers on that. If you did want to use that as a short-term rental, you could pull over $100,000 a year just on that unit. So that's kind of cool, but you would have to go through the licensing process for that here in San Diego. And keep in mind, guys, every city is different. The city of San Diego is completely different than the city of Oceanside or Encinitas, any of that. So it's a whole different permitting process. So you really have to know what you're getting into. Now, this is going to take us into the master bedroom. Very clean, nothing crazy. There is luxury Airbnbs or short-term rentals all over the place. This is something that's going to be more moderate, priced a lot more friendly. Your views, nice little patio. They even have a little coffee station up here. This will take us into the other bathroom. The rooftop is my favorite part, hands down. This is going to be our final bedroom here. This is going to be the 5th bedroom. You got a bathroom in here as well. So this one is able to accommodate 16 people, which is a pretty good amount. That's why they're able to, get $900 or $1,000 a night. Remember, that's going to be the ADU over there, detached, which is nice with its own alley access. Very big, spacious over here. And this will take us to a nice little private section as well. So just over yonder, that's going to be the bay, the ocean, downtown Pacific beaches over there. Just plenty of stuff to do over here, which is nice. Hopefully those tips and that tour were able to help paint you a picture of what it's realistically like to have a short-term rental right here in San Diego. And if you have any questions or thinking about buying or selling a home anywhere in San Diego, we would love to be a real estate resource for you. All of our information is right there down below. And I have a couple other videos right here that might be useful as well. I'll see you there.